adding and subtracting fractions. The first example is 1/5 plus a negative 5/7. Okay, so we know we have to deal with a negative, so we need to figure out which one is bigger. Well, 5/7 is way bigger than 1/2, and 1/5 is way smaller than 1/2, so that we know the negative is with the bigger number, so our final answer is going to be negative. So what we're going to actually end up doing is 5/7 minus 1/5. Now we have to get a common denominator, and the easiest way to do that is to multiply by the other denominator. So I'm going to multiply the 7 by the 5 and the 5 by the 7. Now if we do it to the denominators, we have to do it to the numerators. So what we actually have is 5 times 5 is 25 over 7 times 5 is 35 minus 1 times 7 is 7 over 5 times 7, which is 35. And now we can put them together. 25 minus 7 over 35. 25 minus 7 is 18 over 35. Now we check to verify that that is simplest form, and it is. So that is the final answer. However, we decided that it was going to be a negative answer, so make that negative. Make sure you double check at the end that your negatives are right. So it's negative 18 over 35. Next one, we have 1 7/10 plus 2 1/7. Well, this one we can go about two ways. We can change them both to improper fractions, or we can just add the whole numbers and then add the fractions, and then just make sure that we have them both in mixed numbers or both in improper fractions. Okay, so if we just add the whole number part, 1 plus 2 is 3. So that's going to be the whole number part, and then we have to take 7/10 plus 1/7. So we need to get a common denominator. So what we're going to do is multiply by the other denominator. So what we would have is 49 over 70 plus 10 over 70. And then when we put those together, we have 49 plus 10, which is 59. 49 plus 10 over 70, which is 59 over 70. And if you check, that is in simplest form, so we put that together with the whole number part, and we have a final answer of 3 59/70. Now you also could have changed that to improper fractions and then done it that way, but it would be the same answer. Example 3, negative 2 3/5 minus 8/12. First thing I'm going to do is write plus a negative so that I remember that I have two negatives and I'm adding them together, so my answer is going to be negative. And also this whole number 2 is there, so I'm going to add the two fractions together and get a bigger negative number, so it's going to be negative 2 in my answer. Now I have 3/5 plus 8/12. Okay, so when I'm adding those together, the first thing I want to do with that is simplify this. It'll make the numbers easier to work with. So I'm going to leave the 3/5 the same, but I'm going to change the 8/12. I'm going to divide by 4 and divide by 4, and I would get 2 over 3. That's just going to make the numbers smaller that I'm working with. So now I need to find a common denominator, so I'm going to multiply by the other denominator. So 5 times 3 and 3 times 5. Top and bottom. So I have 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 times 5 is 10, over 15. 9 plus 10 is 19 over 15. But we now have an improper fraction, and we already used a mixed number here, so we can either turn this mixed number into a improper fraction, the 2, or we can change this improper fraction into a mixed number. So if you divide, 15 goes into 19 one whole time, and then there would be 4 left over. So 1 and 4/15 and the negative 2. So my final answer is going to be negative 3 and 4/15. And that is your simplified answer. Number 4. 3 and 4/7 minus or plus negative 2/9. So what I'm going to start with here is a subtraction problem. All I have to do is subtract off the 2/9. So I'm going to take and change this into an improper fraction because I feel like it would be easier there. So 3 times 7 is 21. 21 plus 4 is 25. So I have 25 over 7 minus 2 over 9. Okay, so now I need to get a common denominator. Nine times 7 is 63. So my denominator is going to be 63. Now I'm going to take 25 times 9, which is 225. And I'm subtracting off 2 times 7, which is 14. 225 minus 14 is 211 over 63. And if you check that one, that is your simplified answer. You may leave it as an improper fraction if you want, or you could change it back into a mixed number. Either one is fine. And the last example, 5/9 plus 8/15. This is a simple addition problem, but before we can do that, we need to make sure we have a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 15 and multiply by 9. So what I have is 5 times 15, which is 75, over 9 times 15, which is 135, plus 8 times 9, 72 over 135. So if I put that together, I have 75 plus 72 over 135. So 75 plus 72 is 147 over 135. And now we have to simplify that fraction. So I know that I can divide this by 3. And so I'm going to try dividing this one by 3. And if you do that, you should get 49 over 45. And that's fine if you want to leave your answer like that, or we can change it to a improper or a mixed number. And if you do that, then 45 goes into 49 one time, and we're left with 49 minus 45 is 4, so 4 over 45. So either one of those answers will be fine. And those are your notes over adding and subtracting fractions. Go through the practice problems. Make sure you can do these and put them both in mixed number and leave them as improper fractions, because you'll never know what you'll have to do. And then you should be ready for a quiz over this material.